Can you edit that out?
Because we enjoy what we do,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like a job. So
Yeah.
What advice would you give to anyone who's in the corporate world that wanted to set up in business now?
But the reality is there's never a good time, is there? You shouldn't be unhappy
No.
in your workplace. And whether it's just going getting another job, or if you've got something that you want to do,
Just do
you've
it.
got to take the risk. I mean, we took the risk and it was both of us.
Like a common thing that you both said right the way through was taking the risk. And the first thing I wrote down was take the chance. You took the chance. And I think you've done it together, and you've probably done it 6 to 12 months prior to the most challenging period of time we've ever faced as a civilization. And to take your business through that and be 5 years in, it's very admirable, and there's a lot of people that look up to what you've done and say, fair play, lads. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Another episode.
Yeah, 4.
I'm losing track, mate.
Yeah, episode 4.
4 or 14. Wee.
Not far off our 20 now that we need
Getting
to get
there,
to.
that was the goal, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, we're top 5% of podcasters then.
I can't even remember. Something like that, yeah. That's the goal.
Couple of guests on today because we did it last episode, just me and you.
Yeah, so you'll all be pleased to know
It's not just me and Andy talking
you're
again.
not just going to be stuck listening to me and Mark. So for those of you that didn't listen, just avoid that episode if it was just us two. You clearly don't want to listen to us. But no, we're back in the Riddling Rack again.
Yes.
Lovely venue.
Thank you for hosting us.
Yeah. And we have a couple of guests on.
Okay?
John and Faye from Haynes. We had this conversation before, didn't it?
as in the car manuals,
Haynes, commercial finance. So welcome to the podcast. Real 5 members.
Yeah.
Which group are you in?
St. Helens and Wigan.
Oh, brilliant. Both yours.
Yes, obviously.
Nice. What's he like? Is he alright?
Is that alright?
It's not true what everyone says about you, is it?
We had on the last episode talking about the importance of networking. We're trying not to plug it too much, but
It's what we do, innit? So inevitably we end up discussing it.
yeah, and you know what it does for people. So just a quick intro. What do you two do? What's your business for anyone listening?
Go on, boss.
Go on, boss.
So we're commercial finance brokers, so we source all elements of commercial finance, whether it's from someone looking to start a business up, we'll do startup funding, cash flow finance, whether it's a growing business, we want invoice finance, asset finance, fixtures, fittings, kit, vehicles, and then a large element of our business is property related, so commercial mortgages, commercial investment loans. We also do bridging and development finance as well.
It's interesting because not a lot of brokers do property as well. Obviously we come across them in various networking groups, don't we? And a lot of them will stick to the commercial stuff and not necessarily go into the property stuff. Was that a conscious decision based on that? Or?
It's pretty much how we've always been. So the only property we will do residential if it's a buy to let and you're a professional property landlord. If it was for a house for you to live in, then obviously we wouldn't touch that.
Yeah.
But we were brokers previously before we set the business up.
Yeah.
And probably 80% of what that company was property as well. And I think it's just how our introducers have followed us and the introducers we've gained.
And they keep
Yeah,
going
well,
back, don't they?
so-
And you're not going to turn business away, are you?
Absolutely.
No, I mean, to be honest, a lot of brokers who probably do the asset stuff and the invoice have probably worked within that arena as well.
Yeah.
Whereas we worked in banking before we set up, became brokers.
Yeah.
And actually, a lot of what we did in that was property, was
Yeah.
commercial mortgages. And then when we became brokers, we probably learned more on the development side and the investment side. And to be fair, it's a bit that probably excites us. Is probably
A little bit more
A
interesting.
bit more interesting. There's a lot more different stuff. The other types of funding are a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So to be fair, I suppose like people do it. But we do the
I suppose that the property stuff as well. I think a couple of bits that I've passed here that it's not come to fruition yet. But it's that excitement of seeing someone potentially buying something that's going to be life changing. It's a business, and you're involved at that. It's the start of the journey.
We have a lot of return clients as well. So some will come to us to buy the first property.
Yeah.
And then within a few weeks,
As they build their portfolio.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, one of the nicest ones is when you see somebody who's been renting their premises for, I've been renting it for 5-10 years, my landlords, and then he said I can buy it. And they generally come to you thinking they're not going to be able to, and actually say, well, yeah, because your business has been doing well. So you just, in terms of affordability, well, we're just adding back what you've been paying rent-wise, still profitable. So a bank will look to lend you money on this against that. Yeah, you still need some money, but to deposit, for example. But those are the good ones, because like I said, you then see someone actually now owning an asset and working within it. So.
Before we go back, obviously it's not, as a kid you don't say I want to be a commercial finance broker.
To be honest, no, I'm not hearing our lads say that yet, to be honest.
How did you land in it? Was it accidental career path?
Yeah, I mean for me very much accidental. I wanted a job and I've done various different jobs, mainly within retail. And literally I just fell across an advert in the local bank in Wigan that was looking to take someone on.
Right.
And that's how I went into finance. Hated maths, still hate maths. So it was probably one of the worst jobs I could think of, but at the time I didn't really look at it as banking and maths. It was more the customer focus side of it and helping people. So I went working for the local bank and then just worked my way up. Different areas, different branches, and then went into the broking route that way.
Mine was a little bit different. So my stepmom was actually worked for the bank, so she was involved in banking and stuff like that. And I actually got took in school holidays to go and just help out, and earn a bit of money. And then that progressed to I was at university. Well, you can have a part-time job, so I'd have a Saturday morning job and then a couple of days in the week. But at university, I was earning more money than I probably am on now, to be fair. With all the different branches and stuff you could go to. And when I left uni, I was a bit like, I don't really know what I want to do. Why don't you come and work on a management scheme? All right then, fine, I'll give that a go. And you just sort of worked my way up to becoming a manager, and then you got to that point where it was like, I don't really know what I want to do anymore. And then I got approached by a brokerage who Faye and I used to work for, and said, we need someone to come and help in the Manchester area, would you be interested? So I said, yeah, absolutely. So dropped a bit of, in terms of pension and all the benefits that you get with the bank, that sort of all went out the window to go and work for this guy. But as we sit here now, it's actually helped to have our own business. And sometimes you just got to take that chance, haven't you? Really?
Yeah. Thanks to today's podcast host, the Riddling Rack Mutiny Willers, open from 9 a.m. daily, serving coffee, specialty tea, also serving breakfast, lunch, wine, beer and cocktails. If you'd like to host a Real People podcast, contact us via our social media pages for more information. It's interesting, I wonder how many people that we've had on have actually wanted to do what they ended up doing.
I certainly never
wanted to be in
grew
Korea.
up thinking I'm going to be in logistics. Well, if anyone's been in logistics, it's a really good industry to be in.
Well, I did want to be a superstar DJ, so there was that, but I never spun any discs or did anything. There was a superstar DJ and a rally driver. That's what I wanted to be when I was younger. Two completely different.
I think there's probably only someone like Fash last week that is actually probably living his dream, because he is a DJ as well.
Yeah, he just does what he wants, doesn't he?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what we all want to do, really, isn't it? So obviously on that note then, obviously when you were younger, going back to kind of like when you were in school in your childhood, what kind of, we always find it dead interesting seeing like what groups and what kind of
people you were, what kind of friendship groups. Was you one of them that just was friends with everyone, small group of friends? Were you both very different? Second husband-wife combination we've had on the podcast.
Yeah.
And Steve and Lou were very different, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yin and yang. What about you two guys? So, Faye, what was you like at school?
I don't think you were at primary school, though, to be fair.
No, primary school, primary school. High school, I wasn't naughty, but I probably hung around with
naughty people.
The edgy crew.
So I didn't, but I was always one of those that they wasn't really naughty. They were quite bright and things like that. Unfortunately for me, I'm not bright. I had to study to get decent results, and it was really frustrating when I was at high school because my friends didn't. Yeah. So they'd be up all night and
just naturally succeed.
Yeah, do the homework on the bus, or 5 minutes before they were due to hand it in. I do that and fail.
Yeah.
And so that was always a struggle. with the crowd that I've been growing with. But yeah, pretty much friends.
Yeah.
Bit of a chameleon, friends with.
Yeah.
Them friends that were at school that didn't have to study.
Yeah.
I don't know how many you've kept in touch with, but do you know none? Do you know how any of them are doing?
A lot of them are working for the local council.
See, it's
not
interesting
here,
that you've had someone given a natural talent, and you see it in sports where there's people that are naturally gifted. They don't have to work for it. They take it for granted.
I suppose if you're at a younger age as well, if it comes natural to you, you don't, like you said, don't have to work for it, so you don't necessarily learn that work ethic at a young age. And I think that is a learned habit of having a good work ethic. And I think that spans right back to how you develop as a young person.
Yeah, I always knew kind of where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. But yeah, I have a lot of friends, lots, and even now completely different friendship groups. But I think that's good for what we do at work as well, isn't it? Because we have to be chameleons. You know, our clients are so different.
Yeah.
You know, even just with the amount of money they want to borrow, some might be 10 grand, some might be 5 million, for example, all different walks of life. So you do have to
wear different hats when you're seeing different people.
Yeah, and even if that's down to even what you wear at times.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, years ago, I was always 3-piece suit, suited and booted, and then somebody said to me one day, if you turned up like that to me,
I wouldn't do any business with it.
I wouldn't do any business with you. And you think, really?
Yeah.
And then when you become your own boss, actually now, the last time I wore a 3-piece suit was to go to the races.
Yeah,
so it's completely changed, and I think that's business as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you start working, you just have to pitch yourself. Best story I have about having to be somebody different is when I went to see my first customer as a bank manager, and it was this guy. I'm still friends with him now, even as not working for him anymore. And he looked me up and down, and I was in this. It was in Oldham. I was in like a metal fabricating business, and he had a big dog sat next to him, and he was 6'5", Jeff.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, Jesus Christ, and he went, "You're a bit young to be a bank manager, aren't you?" And I went, "I'm older than you think." And he never asked me my age.
Right.
And after all that, and then 10 years later, probably about 5-10 years later, he said, "How old actually are you?" And when I told him, "You're the same age as my bloody son." But having that ability to sort of be a bit quick thinking.
Yeah.
And after that, he did loads of business with us, and he was alright, but it's again, because he just, he had this instant thought about what I was, who I was.
That first impression, innit? Is it as important as it once was, though?
I don't think so. I know from my time at Carlsberg, I had to, I looked after Liverpool, but I had hotels in Liverpool where people wanted you smart. But then I was going seeing rough ass pubs where, if I came in a suit, they'd tell you to get out, and you have to wear them different hats. So it's good to. It's a good way of learning how to speak to different people because it's important, isn't it, as well? It's interesting what you said about now you have a wide circle of friends, because literally just the one that we recorded just before we was talking about that. I think the older you get, you've not necessarily got that one true close friend anymore.
Yeah.
And you've got your life partner, which is John, where you're the people that you're probably really, really close to, and everyone else is just sort of acquaintances.
Your circle grows a lot smaller, I find, as you get older, and you realise certainly who your real friends are.
Yeah.
But then we also have friends from all different, we have some of our closest friends, people that we've met through work.
Yeah.
And we've only possibly known them a couple of years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The friends that you had at school and growing up might or may not still be there at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. The 3 lads that I'm friendly with that did go to my secondary school, and we were on a WhatsApp group. We've been trying to meet up for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Just never happened for whatever reason. Yeah. But we occasionally message each other and there's stuff on the group. But
I see my schoolmates once a year.
Yeah.
And if we're lucky.
It tends to be weddings now, or a wedding or a funeral.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've not been to many of them. But so, what was your childhood like then, John?
So I was really shy when I was younger, which is pretty hard to believe now.
Fair brought you out of the shell.
No. I came when I was at primary school. I was quite quiet, but then I had a close group of friends, and then I went to high school, and there was a lot of perhaps other lads then who were a bit more like the king of the school and all
jocks.
Big boys. But I was always dead sporty.
Yeah.
So I love my sport. I love my cricket, my football. I was in every sports team at school.
Yeah.
And I was a goody two shoes.
Yeah.
So, I didn't want to do anything wrong and all that kind of stuff. And that was just probably how I'd been brought up. But really, I always loved my sport. Teachers like that. Wouldn't say I was massively academic. I had to work at it a little bit like Faye. Really, I had to knuckle down for my exams. But I got 10 GCSEs, so you know, and reasonable grades. So I was pretty happy with that. But when I went to sixth form college, it was like the unveiling of me. I was just completely different. I was, you know, life and soul of the party.
It's just to reinvent yourself, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because these lads didn't go to that college, you see. So the lads that I overshadowed you a bit, and were always like, you know, for laughing in the class and stuff. I suppose when they weren't there, it was a little bit like, oh,
I'm the jock now.
I'm like this. I can show that more out in the real world. And again, like Faye, I've got mates from different walks of lives. You know, some are millionaires, some are live abroad and things like that. Keep in touch occasionally, but quite a small group really now. Like I said, the message once a year or every so often. But yeah, interesting. So I suppose that's pretty much how I always find now I'm becoming the oldest person in a group, which is probably quite bad. So like out of our close friends now, I mean Faye's obviously a lot younger than me, I am always the oldest. So I'm going on a stag do in September, I'm 46, the next person is about 36 at best, and the youngest is like 22.
You don't feel any older though, do you?
I don't.
No.
Not at all.
It's when they were sending the passport info in, and he's like 1978, and I'm coming for what, 2001 or something. He's like,
I was like, give over. He's not old enough to go.
What year were you born, Frank?
It's 2003.
It's grim, isn't it?
That's mental, isn't it?
It's mad.
I don't feel any different than I did when I was 25 at 21 at university. Going out to Manchester all the time, enjoying my life. I don't feel any different. But I'm occasionally wake up feeling like I've been hit by a bus.
It's the day after that you struggle when you get older. 100%. Do you find sport has helped you, your biggest sport when you was a kid, has that helped you in your future career? Like discipline and structure and stuff, do you think?
I mean, Faye would probably say I'm pretty good at nice, to be fair.
I would agree.
I think sport has helped me with socialising and being able to be on par with different people because when you're playing a team, you know, everyone's from different backgrounds and stuff like that, and you've got to help each other.
You want to play a few golf days?
I do play golf, which is quite a solitary sport. You would say, but actually I never play on my own. So actually it is a social thing. So I get to do more of that now when I'm older, which is good. But no, in terms of bringing sport into business, I know there's a lot of crossovers that they have. I probably haven't put all them skills into.
It's only something I mentioned. You might see it with Isaac, and like my boys all play sport, and when we like watch like sort of stuff at the end of school year and stuff like that, you can see a marked difference between the kids that are in sports teams and the kids that are not. And the social stuff is a big part of that. You know, these kids are very isolated. So I've always said to the lads, you have to do some. Luckily, they all like football, so they'll play anyway. But if they didn't, I would make them do something because I think it gives them.
Well, they have less and less opportunities now, don't they? You know, they don't play out like they used to.
No.
You know, the first thing a kid gets given is an iPad.
Look at that.
Mum and dad need some peace and quiet.
You know, it's like when you take kids to school for the first time, you can tell which kids haven't been to nursery. You know, which kids have just been at home full time. Because they don't integrate well.
No. And
they don't know how to handle social situations, do they? So sport's good.
I mean, we're quite lucky for our little one, so we've got obviously Ronnie who's coming up to 3 now, and for us, we are very much about trying to get him outdoorsy, climbing and stuff. Like they call it dangerous play, but allowing him just to climb up
and fall.
He's going to fall, but if he falls on that, that's okay because it's not like, you know, he's not going to break his neck. It's that kind of stuff.
Sharp objects.
We don't throw him up boulders yet, or anything like that. But we've got some other friends whose child is not as out like that. You know, and he's very cautious, but they're more cautious with him. So that's how it works.
But it teaches you to lose as well, and in business you lose a lot. And I think now in schools they've took a lot of the competitive edge away from sports day. It's you can't lose.
It's not anymore, is it?
But there's even the parents' races.
We had welly throwing this year. Parent welly throwing, one.
Like What do you do? Just genuinely
Lob a weller, yeah.
I'll behave.
Yeah, because someone fell over in the running race last year, so they...
What a parent did.
Yeah, so we moved it to...
broke collarbones and
Yeah,
legs
so
and stuff like
they
that.
moved it to Welly throwing. I won, Emma won, and Carter won, so it's a clean sweep for the Beeches. We're not competitive though. But no, it does. I think the losing. If you never lose, it's difficult. You see kids now that school are protecting them so much from losing, you know. But when you go for a job interview, Harley, me and you spoke about it, Faye, with 16-year-olds. Like he thought he was going to go and get an electrician apprenticeship.
Yeah.
But he didn't think there'd be other like 90 kids going for the same job. And I'm like, you're probably not going to get it the first time. You will get rejected. And because he's never had a great deal of rejection, apart from his sport, where his team are looking for him, they lose quite often. So he's got used to...
It teaches them to deal with that behaviour though, doesn't it? So.
And losing. So then you start... Well, when did you guys meet? Was it at work?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Faye says I groomed her, but you know... we'll just get... Can we do a legal part of that first?
I was over the age of consent.
Yeah, you were over the age.
Yeah, he definitely did groom me.
I think there's an element of always that with the man and the woman, isn't there?
Just get a title for the podcast.
Grooming.
That should get some clicks.
Yeah, we met at work when we both worked at the bank together, but hadn't like
Cross paths.
Yeah. So we'd heard. Well, you said you'd seen me.
I mean, you're a bit hard not to notice sometimes, to be fair, darling. So.
I don't remember really seeing John, but then...
He's going to be a domestic.
She's really good at fielding my parts, let me tell you this.
I didn't really recognise him.
People listening and watching on the going, alright, go on.
No, it was more like when I said I'm going to work for him, they said, oh, John Haynes, do you not remember John Haynes? And I was like, no, but it's just because we never worked
I was
together.
well known in the bank, but not mine.
However, I am very rubbish at recognising people and names, so don't take it too much. But no, we was like passing ships really in the bank. I worked at one commercial centre, he went to another, I went to that one, he went to another. And then he left a couple of years ago before I settled in Manchester as well.
Right.
So, in fairness, I wouldn't have worked with him.
Yeah.
And obviously, no, I didn't see him when I was in there. But it was only when I left the bank and I went working for another brokerage, John was there.
Right.
And that's where we obviously met, and that's where we got together, isn't it?
This podcast is brought to you in collaboration with Real 5 Networking. Real 5 Networking helps maximise your profits by opening new revenue streams, creating new business opportunities, and giving you the chance to work with like-minded, forward-thinking individuals in a refreshing, no-nonsense business group. Find out more about upcoming events at real5networking.com.
Yeah, I mean, I had gone into the bank to sort of see one of my old colleagues go and have, I think we were going for a beer or lunch or something like that, and I was talking to a lady on the reception and she said, oh, how's it going? And this, you've left a couple of years. Yeah, really good. In fact, we're looking at taking some extra people on. It's got that busy. So she's like, oh, great. She says, oh, there's some redundancies going on in the bank and, I might have somebody for you. So I said, okay. So she rings up, answers the phone. Laurie, what? And she's like, I've got somebody down here who might be able to give you a job. And she went, right, okay, what is it doing? Well, I don't really know. So she apparently, she was like, all right, well, I'll go and talk to him. So she came down.
Entertained him.
She walked around the corner and I sort of went, oh God.
It's her again.
Yeah.
You've got the job.
Would you be? That's pretty much it. So I went back to my boss and said, I think there might be someone who'd be really good to work for us. He went, okay, fine, well, let's have an interview. And when she came into the interview, as she'd left, he went, so do you want me to give her the job now, or shall we just wait and see what if she wants to take the job?
Now.
I said no. So it sort of evolved from there. We both had other partners at the time, but then as it worked out, we ended up getting together. But we worked well together. That was the thing. We did a lot of meetings together, we worked well together, and we laughed and said, oh, in the future, Haynes and Haynes kind of situation. Well, it's sort of come to fruition then. So we got together first, we were still working together, then I went working somewhere else, and then it was a case of, right, are we going to do this? we do it together.
And what was that? So obviously when you decided to set the business up, what was the trigger? Usually what you find is someone does it out of a frustration or an opportunity or something. Was there?
An opportunity really. So when obviously John went working for another company, we got married, and at the time our previous employer was thinking of potentially taking a downward step from the business, progression planning with myself, and we just kind of thought of ways to do it, and ultimately when we got married he was like, what would you do with John, like if you owned this business and he was elsewhere? And I said, well, I'd bring him back, because effectively at home we were competitors. We both worked for different brokers. Funnily enough, we still worked together because deals I couldn't do and vice versa. We passed to each other, but I was like, 100% we'd work together. So he kind of suggested prematurely, John wasn't that happy with where he was, wanted to work with me again anyway, so he just said, well, why don't we bring him back now? And we speed the progression planning up. And originally it was going to be like, you earn me so much money and I'll give you so many shares in the business. And he was like, find me out. So he was like, right, okay. The money he wanted for the business wasn't the money we had in the bank account, so we ended up getting an investor.
Probably you knew someone who did commercial finance.
We had an idea of how to maybe
So we ended up getting an investor, which is great now as well, because when we speak to clients, we've been on that side of it. And we had an investor on board, he was all geared up to do it, and we went through the full process, and it was literally, solicitors were involved with the point of signing paperwork, getting formal contracts put together, and I felt we were being squeezed from both sides. The investor wanted a bit more from us than what I was prepared to give, and then my employer at the time, who was selling us the business, was a bit reluctant to agree to certain things, and it was like, it wasn't local as well, it was in Yorkshire, so it was a bit of a headache. How is it going to work? There was staff that, no offence, we didn't want. So
you're almost inheriting a culture, aren't you, that you might not necessarily want.
We went to see somebody else and they said, what are you actually getting for your money apart from, I think you're buying a headache? He said, and because we talked to somebody else about investment, and he said, I invest in you two, but I don't think you need that business. And that was sort of probably what you said, it was like the trigger of, Faye went, the day after said, I'm not doing it anymore. And I went, well, what am I going to do? Because at that point,
I left my job.
So I was like, well, what am I going to do?
after Christmas.
So we were like, I said, right, okay, well, we'll look at how we set up on our own.
So in terms of the actual acquisition then, you were acquiring, or would have been acquiring, a client base.
Commercial finance broker.
Right, okay.
Right.
So
But they already had an
established
established client base
Yeah,
that there was income coming on from.
we already had pipeline, things like that was ready to sort of draw.
And the alternative was starting from ground zero.
Yeah, which in fairness was a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
We didn't need an investor.
Yeah. So it's all yours.
And the process that we'd gone through to obtain the established business helped us, because we knew, well, there was parts of that business model that we didn't like, and there were some parts of it that we really did like, but we'd also gone through some of the regulation, FCA, NACFB. We'd started that process, so we knew we wanted to continue that with ourselves. Well, we got FCA in 2 weeks? Yeah.
What's the process again? And that's quite a big.
Well, it takes the average person up to 6 months to do the application and get it approved, because they can come backwards and forwards and say, well, explain this a little bit more, they might want more information. Where, it was 3 weeks for us from start to finish, and that effectively means we can then go direct to the bank, so we don't have to use another broker.
Or what they call packages, which are basically businesses that sit between a lender.
A bit like in the mortgage world, because that's quite prevalent in that, isn't it?
Yeah. It means the client comes direct to us, we have a relationship direct to the bank, there's no one else.
Hence better deals then for the customers.
Absolutely, and in terms of payments as well, commissions, we don't have to split commissions with anybody else, or they don't split it with us. So like I said, it was a fraction of the cost, so we just thought, right, it's now or never. And
so we ended up actually we did a start-up loan, so start-up loans company. We ended up getting a loan from them with a view to, I've done so many different spreadsheets around how, you know, if we did well, when would we be able to sort of like draw money from the business, and if we did terrible, you know, how long would that money last us for? Thankfully, it was the good side. So, you know.
And what was the reality of the bad side in terms of how long did you have to kind of 6 months? Almost kind of thing,
Because it was both of us, we'd both given up our jobs technically. It was reliant on.
And when was this? When did you set the business up?
We've just done 5 years, so.
2019.
Yeah.
So just before the global pandemic.
Yeah.
So we did 12 months. We did 12 months, and we were like, we are smashing this. This is absolutely flying. We had loads in pipeline. And then when they shut the world down, we went,
shit.
What we do now?
We went, all right, well, we've got, you know, because again at the time it was very much like cash, keep it in your busy unit. So okay, we've got 6 to 12 months cash flow in the business. If we need it, by like month 6, we were like, this is not what's going on.
Was it shut down? Was you not doing any business?
Thankfully, I've got a couple of, well, John had as well, but I had a couple of decent bridging loans which went to fruition, because what happened the back end of COVID is banks stopped lending money, criteria changed, but that first 6 months, because no one really knew what was going on, and we all thought it'll blow over in a few weeks, the deals that we had that were approved went through to completion.
Right.
And they were decent deals.
So
that kind of topped our buffer up as well. Plus, you know what, our overheads, apart from, you know, we work from home. We still work from home, we've got a home office. Apart from the booze bill going up, we weren't going out.
The brown bottle bin got filled.
we weren't going out, we weren't doing anything. You know, we had a hot tub in the garden and that was it. Las Vegas pool parties every day. We had a great COVID.
I mean, to be fair, to come back, to make it sound like we didn't just party all of that period, we did actually check in on a lot of clients just to say, look, your deal's just drawn, we're going to help you, you know, if you need us, we weren't going to charge them for it.
So that will have helped you a lot.
Well, when a lot of these government grants and all that kind of stuff were going on, they said, look, we'll help you fill out the documents and this, that, but we're not getting paid by lenders to do this. So either you can pay us to do it, or we'll do it for free, or whatever your circumstances are.
But that's the difference, isn't it? Because there's a lot of businesses that would have sat there in that time and thought, put my feet up, and I'm on my Las Vegas pool party. But going that extra mile and going that above and beyond to kind of make yourself accountable to your clients when there was nothing in it for you in that period of time, that's going to have set you up for years.
They come back to us, and that's the thing. We pride ourselves on our reputation. A good 60 to 70% of our clients are returning clients. Even the ones that we're doing first deals for now, they're already talking about deal number 2 and number 3. So reputation's a massive thing for us. So we didn't want to check. They've got a bounce back loan because they're on the bones of ours. So it didn't fit well with us to then say, well, we want 1% of that. And those are the clients who have remembered, and they've come back to us since after COVID.
I think you're doing a business then not just for the money, it's because you want to help people, and that will pay you back. I remember someone who's still in Real 5 now joined, and he was in the travel industry when the pandemic hit, and he'd just bought his franchise of the travel, so he literally couldn't go anywhere. But at that period there was loads of people that couldn't fly, the holidays were getting cancelled, and that's what he did. He spent 6 to 8 months working for nothing, just helping people, you know, cancel flights, do this, what to take to the airport. And for him as well, it's come back in spades now.
It goes back to the old adage of like paying it forward, doesn't it? And you know, putting it out, and it will. If you do genuine good, it does come back to you, doesn't it?
If you don't do it just for the money, and there's a long-term plan. Obviously, everyone needs money to get by.
That's it. You know, our overhead has gone up. You know, since we've had children, since we've had more children, and as you do, you live to work. So that's what you know. I mean, money. You spend it, don't you? But because we enjoy what we do, it doesn't feel like a job. So, the office is in the house, but I don't sit down on Sunday night going, I'm going to work tomorrow. I've probably done some emails that night, or you know, if I'm working at night and Faye's doing something else, or kids to bed, she's not going, oh, you're still working. She knows that it's.
There's an appreciation for what you're doing. So how do you manage, obviously the office being in the house and working together, how do you manage that as a couple and a family as well? How do you define kind of work?
More challenging since a little toddler comes along.
We are lucky, and we do say it as much as, you know, we laugh and joke. We met through work,
Yeah.
and we did work together really well
Yeah.
before we got together
Yeah.
in a relationship, and that's always been the thing that keeps us together as well. You know, there might be some tetchy emails someday, and there's no kind regards on the end. And, you know,
No kiss, if there's no kiss.
I'll fucking emailing each other from the living room to the kitchen.
But yeah, we generally find it, you know, we very rarely disagree about work. We're
Yeah.
very much on the same page. What John's good at, I'm not so good at. What I'm good at, he isn't so good at.
Yeah.
So we help each other that way. I know what he does well and what he doesn't do as well, and vice versa. So we're always pretty much on the same page with work. It's if we have any kind of issues outside of work, work generally then brings us back together, because
Yeah.
we have to communicate.
And I suppose as well, in your previous career path, you've always sort of nearly been equals.
Yeah.
So it's not come to a business and one is the senior.
Yeah.
And cause I think that's where a lot of couples would struggle. Because
Yeah.
I've mentioned it to Emma before about come work with me. And she would see herself, that's her thing, it wouldn't be, but she'd see herself as an employee of me, not a partner.
We've got some friends who, you know, it's her business, the name's above the door, and her husband's coming to work with her now.
Yeah.
What has resisted for a long time because
of that.
Wanted to change the name. And
Yeah.
it was like, I'm not changing the name because I set that business up.
Yeah, yeah.
So because we started from day one as the two of us,
Yeah.
that's probably why it
Yeah.
worked, you know, in other situations where the wife does decide to give up the job or husband gives up their job, comes into that business, it can be tough because you've been running it and then all of a sudden someone's coming in going, why are you doing it like that?
Yeah.
You're like, I've done like that for years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you make a conscious effort to switch off from work as well? Is that a challenge or?
It can be. I mean, we do and we don't. Again, because it's our business, you get out of it what you put in.
Yeah.
So if we know we've got a big deal that we need to get over the line,
You get it done.
then you get it done.
Yeah.
Because you know what the value is to you, your business, your personal
Yeah.
life. So, but yeah.
You almost live and breathe it then, don't you?
Exactly, but there is downtime, you know, evenings and weekends, and we was joking with someone the other day about, it was a potential client, wasn't it? It was on about Christmas Day. We never put an out of office on.
Yeah.
But it's not because we're workaholics, it's because, again, if someone rings us up on Christmas Day, who may not celebrate Christmas and they've got a £5 million deal, we're not going to say, I'm just cutting the turkey. It's, can I ring you back in an hour?
Yeah, yeah.
Or, I'm just going to take 5 minutes out to deal with this client.
No,
So
absolutely.
downtime's important, but we're going on
That probably
holiday
becomes a
this week.
strength for you as well,
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
doesn't it, within your business? Because you've got that and you've got the understanding between each.
Yeah,
each
exactly,
other.
and it doesn't cause the friction because, you know, I was talking to a customer on the way over here who's on holiday at the moment and he says, since I've come on holiday all I've done is talk about this deal to me and various other people. He said, I'm getting it in the neck. Well, I wouldn't get it in the neck, or Faye wouldn't get it in the neck because it's our business.
Yeah.
We understand.
You're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your family, aren't you?
Whereas your family probably, if they're not involved in it, think, oh, you're on the phone again.
I think that's key to the husband-wife dynamic working is that understanding of each other,
Yeah.
isn't it? You know, and same goals, driven. Oh, I like that. This podcast is brought to you in collaboration with Quickline Couriers, specialists in same-day dedicated delivery. For more information, visit quicklinecouriers.co.uk. Because Louise and Steve were very similar, wasn't they?
Yeah.
Share the childcare duties and one's mad doing the other thing, but it just works.
Yeah.
When
Your first technological knowledge is next to nothing, and mine only a slightly bit higher, if I'm being honest. You know, I get the laptop gets presented to me, it's not working. Oh, right, okay. Well, I'm just doing this. Yeah, but it's not working. All right, okay.
that's broke.
Yeah,
I don't even have to do it anymore. It's when the boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, just give it.
Generally, the keyboard is getting attacked, and I'm like, all right, give it a minute.
How many kids now then?
3, got 2 older boys.
What's the boys? The young ones called?
The older ones.
The younger ones.
Ronnie,
And what's the other one?
Harrison, and
Harrison.
Oliver.
I love Ronnie. Because he looks naughty as well when you show the videos.
But he isn't. He has got my
It's a naughty name.
He's got my side of being angelic.
It's just a naughty name though, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, he's got a cousin as well called Reggie. So
I love that.
Brilliant.
Put them two together. Put them two together. That's hilarious.
And the kids, did they like sort of follow your path? Are they going to be sort of business minded?
Absolutely not.
No. Is that because they've seen it and gone, I don't want to do that, or where does that come from? Especially with the older one, for instance.
We don't know with Ronnie, obviously, yeah,
No.
he's too young, but
No, the older ones, I mean, one, Johnson, Oliver,
he's going to go to, he doesn't really know, he talks about being an engineer, but what an engineer is like, bro, she's going to go to sixth form college, potentially will go to university, he's pretty academic like that, and then Harrison wants to go into trades, know, so they're opposites. But Harrison's just started working with somebody now and going
he's
to
got
college.
he's got a joint replacement, and then obviously he's going to go to college a couple of days a week to obviously get his formal qualification when he does it. So he's very much knows what he wants to do, and got all that lined up, which is great, and obviously Ronnie's too.
However, they do see us having our own business, and I think we've
That's going to be
said,
infectious, hasn't it?
yeah, we've certainly said to Harrison, look, you could have your own joinery business within the next 5 to 10 years, or you could become a partner in the business that you're working with now, and then it'll be your business and you'll be earning. And obviously then he'll probably come to us and ask us questions about how to do it. Oliver's the same, he sort of sees us working for ourselves and thinks, I want to do that. His mum's in a very corporate job, and I think he doesn't want to be very like that. So again, it's Harrison's dad is in tech. And Harrison's not really techy either. So it is. Oh, I get potentially stuff by him as well, to be fair, actually.
So what is success for you guys? Because that's something we ask everyone, because some people it's financial, sometimes it's family time, all them other bits. What is deemed success for you two?
I mean, for me, it's our business. Well, certainly for me, John needs to be grounded sometimes and pulled back. But for me, when we set up, it was to have a comfortable lifestyle, nice holidays, nice car, nice house, just nice things, but never set out, to have 10 members of staff, to have 2 offices, to have a multi-million-pound turnover business. That was never on the cards.
Is that still not on the cards?
Not for me, not at all, no. It's very much just enjoying time at home. Enjoying time.
Well, I'm laughing at what mine is for success.
Well, the thing is, to do that,
you've got to sacrifice a lot of.
Now, with what we're bringing in now, we'd never see each other, you'd never see the kids.
Yeah.
And that comfortable lifestyle we want, you would never get to enjoy.
Yeah. You'd have it all, but you wouldn't be there to.
Exactly.
And it is lifestyle, isn't it? So what you're saying there is success to you is having that lifestyle and enjoying that lifestyle.
And but being present, because both me and John separately, together, have been periods of time where we've been on the bones of our ass completely, no money, and then we've had times where bank balance looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But the key is, we've still had that time together, and that's what I want, which is just to...
And the time with the kids as well.
Exactly.
Because the kids don't know what's in the bank, and they don't care. We've said that before. They're not, and that's this time you've got with them as kids is short and quite precious as well, isn't it?
And you never get it back. Time is the commodity that you'll never get back.
We realise that with Ronnie. He's 2, he's our last, and time's going by so quickly.
I said to him today, I said, will you stop growing up, please, man? And he looked at me. Obviously didn't really know what I was sort of saying. He said, okay. And I was like melting my heart. I was like, don't just stay like that.
Yeah.
I was laughing because I was going to say success for me is a Porsche 911. I thought, no,
but it is for some people.
No, it is about, yes, when we first set up, I had aspirations of growing a business. I think what I'd like is a business that earns me money while I'm sleeping.
Yeah, passive income.
Still my aspiration, some form of passive income, and whether that's on the side of what we do now or within our industry, but creating something else. That is something I'd like. That's nice to have. But I mean, I would say success is this. Success is us being in business for 5 years, coming through a pandemic, still having a client base that wants to work with us, still being together and not,
killing each other.
And you know what? I would like a bit more money in the bank, but he wouldn't.
Yeah.
He wouldn't at the end of the day. As long as everything's paid and and we can do what we want to do when we want to do it. There's always a way.
But I like the way it's not the be all and end all, because I've seen you've seen people with money,
Yeah.
you'll have seen people with money, and it doesn't always necessarily make them happy.
No.
People with lots of money who are miserable.
Miserable, and they have broken families and terrible family life. But
You could be there and not be present, and
Yeah.
that's the key for me. It's like, I want to be at home, but I want to be present.
Present.
In people's lives.
And I think the passive income comment that you made, you've sort of said without saying it that you want more time. Because passive income creates time, and I think that this next generation of people coming through, there's been sort of 4-day weeks and stuff like that. I think people are realising more and more that time is the big thing. They want to enjoy life and not work in 12-hour days, 7 days a week. They actually want to live. And I think COVID helped with that a bit.
And that's the advice I give to my boys really is, look, try and find a job where you can step away from it and still earning money in the background.
Yeah.
In whatever industry that was in, there would be a way to do that. Because sometimes you do feel like you never switch off. And when it is really busy, you're a bit like,
Yeah.
Keep showing the OnlyFans.
pictures of your
You
feet.
can make a fortune.
Pictures of your feet. Send them some and so on.
Keep leaving me.
It's passive for me.
Well, they could be looking at that.
But no, what did you want to add anything more?
No, to be fair, I think it's interesting, and you're just so aligned as well, which I think is key. For me, it's like, what was, when you set the business up, what was the goal? And you've touched on it there, when you first set up, it was that the reason for doing it? So I know there was the opportunity presented, but...
Because he had no job and I was there. He was like, what the hell am I going to do now?
I always wanted to work for myself.
Yeah.
I think when I started to work in a corporate environment, I pretty quickly saw, certainly was in the business environment, I saw people running their own businesses and sometimes thinking, Jesus Christ, how are they making that kind
If
of
they
money?
can do it,
If
I
they
can definitely do it.
I can do it. Somebody said to me once, bank managers are the entrepreneurs that never take the risk, which I thought always sort of stuck with me a little bit. I thought, okay, I wanted to be the one who took the risk. So, I always wanted to work for myself. Didn't really know what, where or when. I got a view if I wanted to do something with property. As it turns out, it's now financing property as opposed to developing or owning it. And thankfully Faye probably came along at the right time to be able to go along with that and want to do it. So,
What advice would you give to anyone who's in the corporate world that wanted to set up in business now themselves?
Take the risk. You can spend too much time faffing and, okay, you've got to do your positives and negatives because you'd be silly if you didn't. But the reality is there's never a good time, is there? If you're unhappy in your work, I've never... since we've had Ronnie, my role's changed slightly, and there are some days that I'm not as happy as I once was, but the reality is it's whilst he's at home, when he's at school, that will change again. But the reality is you shouldn't be unhappy in your workplace, and whether it's just going and getting another job, or if you've got something that you want to do,
just do it.
You've got to take the risk. I mean, we took the risk and it was both of us, wasn't it? Both of us, and we are aligned like that. We do joke, and our friends joke. We are very much go big or go home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
we just bought a caravan that's 8 metres long. We don't just buy a little 2-berth or 4-berth.
It's
We bought a 6-berth caravan. It's like, oh right, okay.
But suppose if it would have failed, you both went in it together, and you would have failed together. So you're still there for each other at the end of it. It's not one of you going, I'm going to risk the house, everything on this. Come along for the ride. If it doesn't work, we've lost it all.
Yeah, there's like what you said about someone looking to pay, there's always a way. So whether that's, like you said, whether that's you have to borrow a bit of money, whether it's you have to cancel your golf membership, or you have to not go to the gym, or whatever, there's always a way.
Or start it as a side hustle.
Yeah.
That's something that we talk about a lot. There's more than 9 till 5 working hours in the day. And that's
get an extra qualification.
and that's when people can set something up with limited risk, because you've got your income, and then you can go, I'll do this on the side, and then see if it
Test the water.
Yeah, one of the best businesses I like to start like that as well.
Yeah, bro. Good.
Thank you
Love
very
that.
much.
Do you know what? A common thing that you both said right the way through was taking the risk. And the first thing I wrote down was take the chance. You took the chance. And I think you've done it together, and you've probably done it 6 to 12 months prior to the most challenging period of time we've ever faced as a civilization. And to take your business through that and be 5 years in, it's very admirable, and there's a lot of people that look up to what you've done and say, fair play, like so.
So just to wrap up then, what kind of people are you looking to help you?
Anybody who wants to borrow money, anybody who's got a business or knows somebody who's got a business, again, someone who wants to take a risk and set one up, you need some startup funding, you can point them in the right direction of where to go, or if it's someone who's wanting to come out of a business and it's a management buyout, both ends of the spectrum we can do.
Yeah, I think like we said, if you're in business and you need to borrow money, we can find.
And are you working with kind of big and small businesses?
Yeah.
What's the sweet spot?
The SME market is our sweet spot,
Yeah.
so your large corporates and things like that, they'll have their own FDs and finance people that are employed.
Yeah.
But if you're an owner-managed business and you don't have your own sort of finance department or anything like that, excuse me, we will definitely be able to help.
And what makes you guys different to other brokers out there?
Again, we pride ourselves on our reputation, and one thing that I'm always a stickler for, and I beat myself up about it, and certainly beat John up about it, is communication. So people use a broker because they don't have a bank manager anymore,
Yes.
or the bank manager doesn't respond to them anymore. You know, but talk about us not putting them out of office on, because there's nothing worse than a client trying to get hold of you. Even if you've got to text them to say, can I call you back?
Communication.
And you know, there's always a deal to be done. We will explore the market, so yeah, it might not fit with the high street bank because the director might have just gone through a divorce and he's now got a bit of adverse credit. That doesn't mean no one's going to give you any money. That's why people use brokers. We've got the whole market to explore for you. Some brokers, their cherished kind of sweet spot would be that particular lender. How much is it going to earn me? That's not how we work.
I think as well, the other thing on that communication part is about putting it in layman's terms. So, you know, we can talk to you about all these different acronyms that lenders and people in finance use, but, you know, no offence, you're probably not going to tell you what that means.
Yes.
We all talk about it as an industry. It's making sure that we relay that to you as customers.
In layman's terms,
sort of say, look, they're looking at what your profits are, can you afford this loan? Almost simplifying it. Whereas, you know, other people might try and complicate it to make themselves look more clever or whatever.
Yeah. Well,
Brilliant.
Thank you very much both for coming on. No problem. Really enjoyed that.
Super. And obviously, we'll be back. We've got more guests lined up.
We have, and if you want to come on, let us know.
Bullet towards that 20.
Couples counselling, that's what some people call it.
Yeah. But it's interesting to hear from another couple.
Yeah.
Business partnership, isn't it? And I think, you know, there's loads of takeaways from that. And
might convince Emma one day to work with me. Probably won't.
I'd love to be flying the wall for that, mate. I was on the phone to him the other day, and she was obviously cooking tea, and all he said was, "What's that?"
He said it was chicken curry, but it looked a mess in the pan.
What did it
was
taste
alright. It was quite nice actually.
Amazing. Well, once again, thank you so much. Thanks to everyone who's been watching and listening in. We'll be back. See you next time.
Cheers. Bye bye.
You've been listening to the Real People Podcast.
For more content, follow us on social media, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on your preferred podcast platform.